Welcome to the Line Life podcast. I'm Jeff Postlethwaite, Senior Editor of T&D World, and today we're bringing you more stories of the grit, courage, and inspirational teamwork that it takes to be a line worker.
Hi, this is Amy Fishbach, Field Editor for T&D World magazine. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Line Life podcast. For this episode, we'll be featuring Staff Sergeant Dalton Kruse, who I met at the International Linemen's Expo. Staff Sergeant Dalton Kruse is a combat engineer specializing in combat lifesaver, hazardous materials, and military training for the U.S. Army. For the last 2 years, he's also served as a U.S. Army recruiter. He is currently pursuing his bachelor's degree in aeronautics, aviation, aerospace, science, and technology from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. For this Line Life podcast episode, he'll be sharing information about military training for line workers. Staff Sergeant Kruse, thanks for joining us for the Line Life podcast. To begin, can you talk about the opportunities for the military in the line trade?
Yeah, of course. So the cool thing with the military is we have active duty and reserve component, which a lot of people don't know the difference between the two. But active duty would be your full time, and that would be what we call 12 PPA, which is a prime power specialist. So they work on a lot of our electrical grids on installations. They do a lot of like disaster relief, stuff like that. You can also do lineman type work in that trade as well. You just get what we call an ASI, which is an additional skill identifier. So they can do a lot of the same work. Where on the reserve side, it's only 1 week in a month. You still get a lot of great benefits that active duty gets, like good health care, travel, pay, all that kind of stuff. But the cool thing is it's only 1 week in a month. So it's not a huge commitment. They pay for you to go to school. It's a 10-week school called the 12 Quebec. That is alignment specialist. So they go through, and when you come out, you actually are in your apprenticeship at that point. So if you are already an apprentice or already have certifications in that field, the cool thing is you can actually skip job training. So you can go just directly to the 9-week basic training, which just trains you to be a soldier, because we're first soldiers, you know what I mean? So then after that, what happens is you go straight to your job, which would be the 1 week in a month, and you actually come out as a higher rank. So you get promoted because you're already trained in that job.
That's wonderful. And what do you think it is about the military that will prepare someone to work in the line trade?
So a lot of it is we are big into physical fitness. Understand being a lineman, you're generally physically fit. It's a lot of climbing and stuff like that. So gets you into that. Also gets you into leadership positions. You're learning how to lead other people, lead teams and stuff. And another thing too that's really big is being able to operate without instruction 24/7, because you're going to be problem solving. The military is really big into finding problems and solving that problem. And that's very similar to what linemen go through daily.
Absolutely. And then what type of people are you looking for the training program? Like what kind of skills do you think you need to be a line worker in the Army?
So the type of skills, the type of person we're looking for right now is generally to join the military, you have to be in good health.
Yes.
So that's the one thing we're looking for is mainly good health. Between the ages of 17 and generally 40 is kind of the cutoff for the reserve, 35 for active duty. We're looking for that age bracket, but generally just someone that wants to have the will to learn. Yes. Because the Army is going to teach you everything you need to know from the basics all the way up to where you need to be a lineman. We just need people that are motivated and want to learn the trade.
That makes sense. And then can you talk a little bit more about the training program itself? What do they learn in that as far as specific training and skills?
So it all depends on the program they go to. Okay. So if they do the 12 PPA, which is the active duty, they're going to learn a lot more of the power grid. So they're going to learn more on how to like power generation, power distribution, stuff along that lines. And that's a full year school. A lot of stuff that goes into that school, and you walk out with 32 credits towards if you decide to take it into a degree. So you walk out with 32 college credits.
That's a lot.
That is quite a bit. So, and with the Quebec side of things, it's a 10-week school. You don't walk out with college credits, but you walk out with the apprenticeship. So it is going to be a lot of like the safety side of things, the actual lineman side of things, the distribution side of electrical and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be more catered towards the lineman side of it in the reserve, whereas the prime power is more of like, where does everything start in the power plants and stuff like that.
Next, can you talk about where the line workers train when they are in the military?
That is actually down in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Nemo actually was one of the people that helped set up that facility down there.
Fantastic. Okay.
Yeah. So we have someone local here that helped set up that whole facility. It's down, like I said, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. It's an awesome training area.
That's wonderful. And what about the military veterans coming out of service? What do you think the line trade can offer to them?
So the nice thing is coming out is not only are you trained as a lineman, but you also have federal and work experience coming out of it as well. And another thing is too, is that when you fall under the lineman trade, you are actually working directly for the Corps of Engineers. So that also opens up an avenue for working for the Corps of Engineers as well when you get out.
Oh, that's great. And then what about deployments? Are there times that the military line workers are deployed overseas to work on overseas systems?
So there are. So I know we have linemen that go overseas a lot for disaster relief and stuff like that, but we also have linemen stationed overseas in places such as like Turkey and Korea and a bunch of different locations around there as well. But yeah, so there's a lot of different places that they're allowed to go. Generally with the reserve, it's going to be mainly United States or some of the surrounding like islands. So like I know when we had huge hurricanes down in Puerto Rico, like the U.S. Army linemen went down there and helped restore power down in Puerto Rico, stuff like that.
And is there anything you want to say about the military line workers who are able to compete at the International Linemen's Rodeo? For example, how do you think it helps them in their training, being able to be around so many line workers from all over the world?
So just like growing up, like being in sports and stuff, you can practice so much, but it's always fun to come out and compete and kind of show off what we have to offer and show the professionalism of our teams and stuff. So I think they're going to do excellent, and they've been training a lot for it. And I'm really excited to see them actually compete. So.
Well, thank you for joining me, Staff Sergeant Kruse. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Awesome. You as well.
This episode of the Line Life podcast was written, recorded, and edited by Amy Fishbach. It was produced by Jeff Polstaway. That's me. To listen to past episodes, visit www.tdworld.com/podcasts or find us at Podbean. You could also drop us a voice memo or message at linelifepodcast@gmail.com with your comments on this episode. We'd love to hear from you. Please follow this show on Podbean or your favorite podcasting app to be updated when new episodes are released. Thank you for listening.